thought I'd give you an update on our 3 lungfish that we have here. This is Louie, the South American lungfish rescue from, I want to say, about a couple of years ago. Came in about a little less than 1.5 feet or a foot. He's a little bit shy of 2.5 feet, I think, today. From Jennifer in Lehigh Acres, Florida, who won him at a county fair. Like all lungfish, he is very slow, very primitive, delightfully slow. I usually describe him as. He's the last one to find any food, so in all this boisterous company I have to put a lot of food in there for him to get his share, but he's pretty plump, as you can see. He knows that some pellets float, so he goes for them for the surface. He knows that some other pellets sink, so he finds them on the bottom, and then he likes his fish pieces. If I'm not mistaken, their scientific name is Lepidosiren paradoxa. Everybody's excited, thinking they're gonna be fed, and he's feeling it, I think, right now also. That's why he's swimming around right here. He's been in this 1,800 gallon, I want to say, for at least a year. Seems to be doing okay here, given the feeding caveat I just mentioned. And see how clueless he is? He's swimming until he bumps into something, into the walls or into the rocks. He cannot learn the dimensions of the tank and the placement of the rocks. I guess he doesn't have to. Almost seems to me that he likes fish more than pellets, but it's hard to say, because how slow he is, he gets whatever he can. Usually he just lays around in one spot all day long, so this is unusual to see him moving so much without food being in the water. So the only thing I can think of is that he thinks the food is on the way. He feels the excitement maybe of the tank mates for getting hungry, and they think, I'm gonna feed him now, right? Which is true. Which is actually, tonight is true. In the wild they grow to about 4.5 feet. Of course, their girth is correspondingly larger. So that's a formidable lungfish at 4.5 feet and as thick as a man's arm or a cove. Okay, so that's our number one. He's been with us for a while, as I said, for a couple of years. And this year we bought two more. We used to have much bigger lungfish. Our biggest was 40-inch West African Predatory annectans. This is also a West African, just about a foot. He came from an eBay seller in Richmond, Ohio. See how thick he is? Eats very well. He began his life with us in a different tank where everything was fine for a while until the tank mates decided to rip him up, bite off his limbs. Lungfish are lobed fin fish. They're not ray fin fish. So these four limbs, they're actually closer related to reptiles or certain amphibians maybe than to fish. I think they evolved several 100 million years ago, I read. They belong to a different order of lobed fin fish. Anyhow, this West African lungfish has been with us since I want to say half a year or so, maybe less, maybe 5 months. Doing very well. At least in this tank now, nobody bothers it. Likes to be under his driftwood all the time, unless the food is in the water again. So again, we had this fish at about, I think, 42 inches, 3.5 foot. By the way, in this same tank also. That was our first lungfish ever that we bought from Gerber's Pets in Dayton, Ohio for $200. And he was about 2 feet or so. And the last one is it's kin from the same genus of Protopterus. This one is Ethiopicus, or marbled African lungfish. This one I got from Steve from Exotic Fish Shop about 6 weeks ago. I don't know why, but we had problems starting this fish to feed. So you can tell that it's not as plump as those other two. For a lungfish, I'd say this is a bit skinny. It still wouldn't take fish pieces, even though Steve kept it for 4 months at his place and fed it shrimp pieces. But about a week ago or so, it started taking pellets at least. Not aggressively, but I saw it's taking pellets, and I started seeing the excrement in the tank from it. For 5.5 weeks there was no excrement and no eating from this fish, and I don't know why. Still don't know. I'm thinking maybe there is an internal problem in the form of parasites, or maybe it's just its peculiarity. It's about 14 inches. The marbled lungfish is the biggest growing lungfish species among the whatever 5 or 7 extant species. These guys can grow to 6.5 foot. The West Africans, I think they top out at about 4 feet. So do several other lungfish, like gilt lungfish and slender lungfish. The Australian lungfish, I think, tops out at about 3.5 feet. anyhow, so I was very pleased when I finally saw its taken pellets. I thought I was losing hope by then, not knowing what to do and why it wasn't feeding. About a week ago, one of the tigs took out a little bite out of its top fin. I don't know why, what happened. It happened out of the blue, hasn't happened before and hasn't happened after. I think marbled lungfish also are not obligate air breathers. They can make do with just their gills. So I rarely see this fish go up for the air. It still goes sometimes, yes, I see it. Okay, so that's our 3 lungfish, 2 newcomers, babies or juveniles, and Louie, the South American subadult, I would say.